understand this a little bit better. So they actually go through, they talk about virtual machines. It is at a basic level, it is a computer within your computer. It is a isolation layer. So pretend you have a computer, and then you can download a program and install Windows inside your Windows, for example. And you just have another browser window. It's not really a browser, it's just another window, not browser window. You have another window, and it has another computer in it. And there's just, hey, there's another Windows right beside the Windows right there. So, and then in that Windows, you can have a browser. And in that browser, you can browse the internet, and you can do MetaMask, you do all this stuff. So you can do that. And yeah, you can do it for MetaMask in it. You can do whatever you want. But the reason I like virtual machines, or I think a lot of people should use them, is if you download something, you can run it. If you download some exe, which you shouldn't, that you don't know, it's not trusted or all this stuff, you can run it in the virtual machine. You can start a virtual machine. You can do a snapshot of a fresh installation of Windows, for example. You can, so you take a snapshot, which just takes, you can roll it back. You can just go back to that same point in time. And then you start it at the snapshot. You run the program. You do whatever you want to do. And then when you're finished, you can roll it back and everything goes away. It was like it was before. So that way you can run stuff. You can do all the sketchy stuff on the virtual machine, and the virtual machine can never talk. Basically can never talk to your real computer. So if it is malware that you run the virtual machine, your real computer isn't affected at all. And if you find out it's malicious or whatever, then you can just roll back to the snapshot and it's not there anymore. So how do you do a virtual machine? I'm not going to go through everything. I'll just show you, like, VirtualBox is the one that's free, open source. A lot of people use it. Again, it's super simple to do this stuff. Install VirtualBox. You can put Linux, you put Windows, you put whatever you want on it. And then just follow these instructions. This guy's got a lot of stuff. You don't have to install a VPN, but you can do other stuff. I like Brave browser. It just blocks a lot of ads on mobile. So I love stuff like that. There's Tails, there's other privacy OSs he goes through too. But again, it's super simple. There's got to be a screenshot of actually running here. Sort of that. Let's see, scroll down. Come on, show me it actually running. Yeah, so you see the window here. It is a window of Linux, and that could be Windows just as well. It's just this Linux example running on your computer. This is your computer. This is a window with another computer running. And he goes through everything. So that's a great resource for that. You can use VirtualBox. There's VMware. There's a bunch of different ones. There's paid and free options. But that's the basics of virtual machine. And yeah, Marco's happy I'm talking about virtual machine. I only use VM for Meta, nothing else, cell-based drivers. Yeah, like I said, you can use it for MetaMask. You can use it for installing whatever exe. Just do a snapshot. Make sure you do a snapshot, because snapshot means you can roll it back, and everything else that you did at that moment until you roll it back, it's gone. And you can just keep doing it over and over and over. So you can use that as an isolation layer to prevent malicious programs from running on your own computer while you still get to use those programs and try them out. Aaron says, I use the VM with Linux installed. Yeah, you use Linux, Windows. I'm sure some of them even support Mac these days. If you run M1 processor, there's virtual machines on Mac that you can run Windows and other stuff with too, I believe. So that goes to my next point. So we talked about 2FA. Yes, I made a question about browsers. I want to get to that too, because that's one of the things I want to go over. Just scrolling up. Yeah, and jump in here anytime, Ben, if you have any points or anything.
Okay.
Let's see. Where is the guy asked about Firefox? Here we go. Jack ZZ. You explained that to me the other day. I forgot what your name means. It's like Jake or something. But anyways, good question. Is Firefox browser more secure? So they're all secure, pretty much. Firefox, Chrome, Safari, Edge, they all have vulnerabilities. So they all are on a spectrum of being secure or not. The best thing you can possibly do to keep yourself from getting hacked, more than hardware wallets, I dare say that, is keep your browser up to date and don't click on crazy links. You keep your browser up to date, that means the vulnerabilities that they patch, you aren't affected by. So if you want to go next level, let's go next level. use a Mac. Use your Mac and keep your browser up to date, because Windows, I give this analogy, it's like driving down the bad neighborhood, right? The bad neighborhood, sketchy houses, it's people outside, look like they want to do you harm, perhaps. You don't want to walk around, right? That's you using Windows, okay? Because everyone on the internet says, oh my gosh, there's 99% market share of Windows. That's who we're going to target. The people who want to hack a lot of people target the people that run Windows, because that's the most people are running it. So if you use a Mac, it's like going down, oh, it's a nice neighborhood. Hey, oh, every once in a while you see somebody sketchy, but overall, nobody's out there trying to rob you. Nobody's out there like trying to steal your stuff. There's only a few people, but not very many. So if you want to be in the 99% of people who are targeted by attacks, maybe you don't get hacked all the time, but you're risking doing it if you're running Windows at all, because that's what all the malware is written for. If you're running Mac, there's still malware for it, but nobody, again, why would you target, if you want to make the most amount of money, as Ben mentioned earlier, people want to make money, they want to steal it sometimes, they want to do it honestly, whatever. If they're writing malware to steal your money, they're going to target the 99% of market share to get the most amount of money. They're not going to target the 1%. So somebody point me to some crypto malware for Mac. I haven't seen it. It may exist, but I haven't seen it because it doesn't make sense to. They want to make the most money. They're going to target Windows. You want to go even further? Use Linux. There's a fraction of a 1% of market share for Linux. So nobody's writing malware, unless you're super, super targeted by a nation state or something for Linux. So don't use Windows if you want to avoid the bad neighborhood type of thing. I know everyone's out there, but Mac, they're expensive and they're hard and I got to learn, and they're beautiful. Okay. They're beautiful. And I'm a little biased, but they're beautiful. I actually use Windows forever. I use Windows forever, and I converted to Mac for a lot of my machines not too long ago. And I'm like, never could be happier.
Yeah. I just used Firefox for the tutorial. I use Firefox. I can't remember why. I think someone in Hex Security recommended it, which I'm about to drop some major sauce. The Hex Security Telegram chat is a really good place to ask questions. I've got a lot of great answers from that chat. There's some really smart guys in there. The flip side is that scammers also lurk in that chat. So if anyone DMs you from the chat, I'm going to put it in here right here. No one's going to DM you from the chat. They're going to copy the admin's name from the chat and try to DM you and say, hey, I saw you had a security question. Well, now I'm going to give you the one-on-one help. No, they're going to answer your questions in the Hex Security Telegram publicly in front of everyone. So, but that's a really good place to go if you just have general questions. There's guys who literally give their time for free in that chat. And it also goes to show how awesome the Hex community is, because literally guys are in there for free, giving out free knowledge to people who need help. So if you're a new person, that's a great place to go. But just, again, be careful of the scammers messaging you, pretending to be the admins, pretending to help you. No one's going to DM you.
Don't answer DMs. I don't know how many hot women per day DM me on Telegram. And it's just, I'm kind of like, can you just be a normal profile avatar? Or like, can you just pretend to be a guy? I would probably answer it, because I know nobody's going to be contacting me with that persona. I don't know how they get people. I guess, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not the right guy. Or maybe guys are they're waiting on Telegram for the hot women to message them. I don't get it.
Yeah. I've had people come to me, women and men, who got scammed by scammers pretending to be the opposite sex. So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Here's a great question from HH. What about iPhone's malware? So let's talk about Android versus iPhone. Ben brought this up before. Very interesting topic. It doesn't really matter. And again, this is I always say I don't give professional advice of any kind, but if I ever would give professional advice, it would be, in this domain, because this is my deal. So iPhone has security bugs. Android has a major security bug going on right now. So unless you update your phone, please turn off Wi-Fi calling, because anyone with your phone number can send you malware. Basically, they can hack your phone remotely. If you have an Android phone that's affected by this the worst type of vulnerability possible, it's like no interaction, don't have to open a text. It's just like, we know your phone number, so they can exploit the Wi-Fi daemon that's using Wi-Fi calling stuff, I guess. they've withheld the technical details right now. Otherwise, I would go into it and like tell you more about it. But that's how bad it is. It's like they delayed disclosure of the vulnerability because and I'm like, a lot of cases, I'm like, yeah, security professionals and stuff, we need to know. We need to understand this stuff too, to know how serious it is and how to tell people about it, how to protect yourselves. But if it's a bug like this, I get it. They withheld it a little bit longer. But anyways, what matters is your updates. Get on the latest version of this stuff if you want to have all the security patches. That's plain and simple, most basic thing. Update your browser, update your phone, because those not only have functionality updates and new features and all that stuff, and maybe some of them you don't want, I get it, but they have security updates. Some devices are end of life and they never have any more security updates, and people are still using them for years and years and years. I'm sure the iPhone 5 works fine because Apple makes products that last forever. Shout out to Max. But they don't get updates more than likely of a lot of the security vulnerabilities. So it doesn't matter iPhone versus Android. At a technical level, if you put a water pistol to my head, as our friend Tommy says, I maybe iPhone, but it's like, that's not the vulnerability is not the phone. Vulnerability is the user. Anyone can send you a link and take your money or take your time or hack your phone in certain ways if you're not patched. So I never think about it as Android versus iPhone, whichever one's more secure. I think of it as, am I a person capable of not clicking on links, installing weird stuff on my phone, disabling all the security stuff on my phone so I can install some random app that gives me coupons or whatever. If you don't do all that stuff, it doesn't matter what platform you use as far as that goes. It's the user that's going to get exploited, not the phone at that level. That's what you should be worried about.
Yeah, and I don't think it's wise to like use MetaMask on the phone or anything like
Another
that.
thing too, I don't use crypto on my phone. I try not to use any crypto app on my phone. I don't like portable. I just feel like you're risking stuff when you take, especially your money, maybe other things. It's portable. It can be stolen. You take it everywhere with you. You're always at risk of losing it. So it just never felt like a good idea to put crypto on my phone. So that's why I don't do it. Nothing against Staker app or anything else. They write amazing stuff. Love everything they do for the community. Just personally, I just, unless it's like a test wallet or something. I mean, I had a Bitcoin wallet on my phone maybe for a while too, just to be like, oh, what if I'm in South America and I want to pay in Bitcoin somewhere, that kind of thing. But I would never. I don't put serious crypto on my phone. I'll say that.
Would you ever put your addresses into Staker app so you're not actually connected, you're just seeing your balances, or you don't even do that?
You definitely take, so that comes down to, it's not even about trusting them, it's about trusting, like, what if they have a compromise one day? Everybody has compromises. I mean, all companies do. I don't know how they store their logs. I don't know how they still, or if they maybe they don't store logs at all. I hope they don't. So I don't know their security infrastructure, nor do I do any other companies. So that's why I know it's kind of a shame too, because they have so many cool features, but I try not to do stuff like that just in case, so I don't dox myself and stuff like that. But again, this is not me talking about Staker app in particular. I'm just talking about any company that would offer those features. I would be a little hesitant just because I don't know their security posture, or if they're not keeping logs, or what they have to do because of regulations. There's a lot of complexities into it. So
good to see you for finance.
Yeah, what's up, Furu? Good to see you, man.
Me.
Why not MetaMask on a phone? What if you lose your phone and your money's on your phone? Yeah, if you have a password, all that stuff. I don't know. I don't want to go through the panic of, hey, my wallet's on my phone and I lost it, and hope they don't get into it. That sort of thing. I just don't like the feeling. It just doesn't make me feel like my stuff's secure.
It's also like almost impossible to use it with Uniswap. Like, it just doesn't work with dApps. So like, why? Like, I think maybe sometimes people want it there to like check their balance or something, but
just use a link to Etherscan for that. But add a link to Etherscan with your address and put it on your home screen, and you can check your balance.
Yeah. So it's just not worth it. But if that's all you got, then you got to do what you can do, and just be careful not to download stuff on your phone that's weird or do weird stuff. I guess is all you can do at that point.
Yeah, and that's again, it's like if I ever get compromised, I don't want it to be because of my phone. I put something on my phone because the phone has a lot of personal information for everyone, right? Like you, it's I just don't want to take those type of risks. What's up, Stefan? Like and share right now, mofos. Yeah, if you like, I mean, if you like, you can do that type of stuff. Graphene OS, yeah. So, for Pixels, dudes then pushing out security updates to fight your face on hardware. Is for Pixel only phones, do them pushing out security updates based on 5 years. I'm not sure I understand that, Paul. But Graphene OS is a security centric mobile OS, I do believe, but I'm not sure on the updates. I'm not sure I understand the updates still. But feel free to clarify. Use Fatty. Yeah, there you go. Fatty.io is fantastic for checking on Godwell. That's what I used to do. I check on Godwell and see that trillionaire, see what he's up to. Yep. They build a lot of cool stuff. Just got offer present day. Pixel 7 at $5 a month, unlimited research graphene. Okay. Interesting. I don't know. I like unlocked phones though. I'll just say, I mean, that has nothing to do with this. I don't like being locked. I like to be able to switch carriers if I need to. And I hate using Windows. So I'm telling you, man, let's go Mac. We're starting a revolution. We're going to get all the crypto people on Mac so they stop getting hacked. Get on Mac, stop getting hacked. There you go. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. Android has a crazy amount of apps. Yeah, it's kind of what I was talking about with Android. You can on iPhone, it's harder to turn the security stuff off because every time somebody wants to download some app, it's not on the store. Android will let you do it. You can turn all this stuff off. But when you do that, yeah, you get all the flexibility of using custom apps and all that stuff. But now you're opening yourself up you're removing yourself from all the security protections against the malware that may be in those apps you're trying to use. So I guess they get a leg up there. There's some architecture things that are better and worse, but yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's you. Like you can get hacked or not get hacked. Most of the time, unless it's Wi-Fi vulnerability with Android, I'll say that one. I mean, that's not a user problem. That's just a critical bug in the phone. But most of the time, it's a user. It's you clicking on something, you installing something, you just trying to get fast. Clicky, red warning: do not do this. Click, fuck you. Warning: do not do this. No, let me do it. You're not my boss. It's that kind of thing that gets into trouble. Phones are just one of the computers. iPhones probably more on the back. Do adjust. I would say that the mobile platforms are, because they're only meant to run apps and they're pretty locked down. So tablets and phones, architecture-wise, are more secure, if you could call it that. I hate generalizing it like that, but on a Mac and Windows, you can run any software you want. And on a platform like a tablet, you can only run apps that are from the App Store, for example. Which one's more secure? Which one's going to have, the one that lets you run everything and the one that only lets you run their stuff? Just process elimination on that one. All right, I'm going to move on to the next one. Get on Max. Stop getting hacked. Mac. Oh, okay. I see what you did there. There you go. Get on Max. Stop getting hacked. That's another way to do it. That's true. It's true. I like Linux. But yeah, I mean, I don't talk about Linux a lot because I know nobody cares or wants to do it. But Ubuntu, Fedora, there's a lot of distribution to Linux that work fine. If you're just using a web browser and you're not a gamer, I can tell you use Linux. Like you don't need Windows or Mac. You can use Linux, but I mean Mac's pretty good. I like it. It's for the general public. It's pretty good. Samsung pushes out updates based on the version of Android you have. Yeah, there's a bunch of both of them, Apple and Google, do a lot of weird stuff around, that when there's some lawsuit about them slowing down your phone to get you to upgrade a while back, like there's some shady stuff that they do that to make more money and all that stuff. And maybe they, it would be a shame if your phone got hacked. You better upgrade to the next version because we're not doing security updates for that one anymore. Ha! Like, yeah, there's some ass hatting going on there too. Don't have your wallet on the phone. Maybe a small trader wallet, Max. Oh, Max, not my name, but like at the Max. Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's basically my thing. I think. Yeah. Shout out to Papa B. Pretty good. Malware will move to where the most user base is. Yes, and that is Windows. Unless you root it, and that's Android, maybe I can reference. Okay, so the next one. Guys, get your questions in. We're up on an hour, and I'm probably good for another 15 minutes or so. Just had a couple other things. Or did I? I'm scrolling. Oh, VPNs. We need to talk about those. So, VPNs. They are for privacy, not security. No, privacy is not security. They are tangentially related in some areas, but privacy is not security. I've heard all the arguments against this. I know. Don't say like, oh, but you can't have privacy without security. I know. VPNs are meant to give you a secure tunnel from one network to another. The industry has bastardized the term VPN in the last few years because retail, all these companies found a way, oh my gosh, VPNs kind of do some security stuff, so we can sell it to people based on a monthly subscription and run a bunch of our own servers. Yeah, I get it. VPNs are great for if you're being censored somewhere, you're in a country or whatever, and you need to get around some kind of censorship. If you need to connect to your corporate network, maybe you work from home and you want to dial into the office, or you have a work from remote job, all that stuff, they do that. Or if you're using public Wi-Fi and it's super sketchy and you're like, maybe just in case, I'll do a VPN. Those three scenarios, perfectly fine. Amazing. Good job. Go for it. If you're using one at home in hopes that it will help you not get hacked, I don't see any point in that. And I want someone to tell me, because I've talked to other security professional friends, and they've also, I'm like, am I missing something here? Like, what does it do? Why would you ever run a VPN at home unless you want to look like you're coming from somewhere else? You want to hide your IP for whatever reason. And by the way, I can break that down too. You don't get hacked by people knowing your IP address these days. Maybe 20 years ago, that was the thing. Not these days. There's too many firewalls. They're blocking ports, all that stuff. VPNs, IP addresses, they change a lot. They're dynamic, and a lot of times too, not that valuable to have for an attacker, unless they're part of some other sophisticated attack. They hack you through your browser being out of date, as we covered, or they hack you by clicking on some link or installing some exe or running some file, all that stuff. It's not your IP address. So that was 20 years ago, not anymore. Everything's browser based pretty much these days. Majority of this stuff. So if you're running a VPN at home, who's hacking your Wi-Fi? If you're on that bad of Wi-Fi, maybe. If you can't trust your own network, that's like a separate problem. You should probably deal with that. But if you're using a VPN for privacy, just use Tor. Download Tor. Use the Onion network. It's free. It works. It's a little bit slower, sure. Maybe do you want high speed privacy hiding IP address stuff? I guess if you want that, but I don't see any point in it. I really don't. Maybe you have some specific use case. I've never used a VPN at home in my life. Not a retail VPN. I've only used it for like work remotely and stuff like that, which is perfectly fine for it. So if you're using one at home, I don't know why. If you want privacy, you can use Tor. You can use a regular proxy, which is fine. And double whammy here, the VPN software you install could have vulnerabilities in it itself. So you're putting more software on your computer that has access to a lot of key stuff, because VPN, they have access to like your network stack, and it probably runs as a privileged user and all these other security concepts. And there have vulnerabilities. I forgot to bring some links with me, but there have been vulnerabilities in VPN software. So ironically, people who have installed VPN software before have, had vulnerabilities, and they may have gotten hacked, all this stuff. Second point, if you're connecting to them and then they're connecting to whatever you're doing, they're probably logs, and they probably have to keep logs of your stuff. And how do you know that they're not? Or how do you know what they're doing with them? How do you know if there's a deletion policy? You don't have any insight at what the company's doing with your stuff, most likely, or at least you don't have a super transparent view. So again, VPNs, use them for the right purpose. That's what I recommend. Use them if you're traveling or whatever, you need censorship resistance. Fuck, I'm talking about blockchains now. Use them if you're at some crazy Wi-Fi spot that you're just like, I don't know what's going on, even though modern browser protections have kind of eliminated a lot of those threats anyways. They're not really that important. Everything's on HTTPS these days. Everything's encrypted. So a lot of attacks go away. Modern browsers protect against a lot more stuff than they used to 5 years ago even. So even that's kind of a fishy use case. Or use them if you need to work remotely, you need to connect to corporate office just as if you were there, all fine. But if you're paying a monthly subscription for a VPN and you're only using it at home and you're using it because it makes you feel safe and you're not going to get hacked and all this stuff, it does not work for security. It's just hiding your IP address. Just think about it that way. And you can use Tor or proxy if you want to do that. If you want security, so segue into the malware conversation or the antivirus conversation that me and Ben were talking about offline earlier. So if you're using Windows, I only use on my Windows machines and stuff. Hey, talking about what I do because it's like an OPSEC thing too. But let's see, how can I phrase this? I don't remember the last time I installed a antivirus on a Windows computer. I've never had a reason to. For the last 10 years or so, Windows Defender has been built into a lot of versions of Windows. I think starting version in Windows 8, Windows Defender has been built into Windows. They have an amazing elite security team doing all kinds of stuff there. And they're basically like a little antivirus company within Microsoft. So, and it does a great job as long as you keep it up to date like all the other ones. You don't need all the fancy bells and whistles. You just need to stop clicking on links pretty much. So I would not buy antivirus. I don't remember the last time I ever bought one for friends and family, even though they give you all the deals at Christmas time and they try to include it in every bundle. It's just a company that making the money machine go burr. They got to keep selling stuff. However, I know some people like Malwarebytes. They like all this stuff. It's almost like a religion at this point. Like every time I hear somebody antivirus, they have their favorite one they use for 10 or 15 years. They're loyal to it. I get it. But again, my opinion is use what's built into Windows. On Mac, I wouldn't see any reason to install one on Mac because they have a bunch of other security features combined with the fact that almost no one writes malware for Mac. So again, don't run crazy stuff. Probably won't have any problems. And then Linux, same deal. Just even less malware and stuff on Linux. So that's my VPN and antivirus opinion. What about you, Ben? What's up?
What do you think about like password managers?
Yeah, that's a good one too. So password managers. I don't like the online ones because there's examples. You can go Google for what was it, KeyPass or somebody. Every once in a while they get compromised. LastPass, they get compromised every once in a while. It can happen. So if you give your data to someone else, no matter how secure they say they have, no matter how many passwords or military grade and all that stuff, at the end of the day, if they have access to the data and they're not using some form of encryption, there are forms of encryption where they can verify data, but they don't know what it is exactly, but they can tell that it's correct. Unless they're using some crazy form of that magic, which most likely they aren't. That's an exception, not the rule. If they can get access to it, then anyone, like an attacker can. Like anyone who compromises them can get access to it. And stuff happens all the time. So I do not use online password managers where that syncs across your devices, all this stuff. Yeah, super convenient. I don't use them. But the local ones, the offline password managers, the programs you can run, you can Google for all the different ones. The ones that stay on your computer and they have a database of the passwords you can encrypt with a master password.
I think that's how KeyPass is, and it's free.
Yeah, so it's KeyPass. There's a few. Different platforms have different versions, but anything that's local and does not store it in the cloud, on the internet, the company doesn't sync across your devices, it's probably, and it just has a local password database that you protect with a master password. That's kind of the standard because it's in your control. You just got to make sure you back up the master database. Like make sure you back that up every once in a while, and you don't forget that password because it's going to have it's going to have all your passwords in it, and you're going to be really screwed. But yeah, the online stuff, I don't want anything to do with it.
Right. That makes sense. Well, cool. So HH has asked this question about using the Ledger app on his phone, but using the hardware wallet to approve the transactions. I would still say just don't do any crypto on your phone, like at all, even with that. Because then aren't you using the Bluetooth on the hardware wallet? That just makes me feel uncomfortable using Bluetooth with with the ledger.
I've never used a wallet with a hardware. I would
For a
say they use
phone.
Bluetooth
Yeah.
though. So I mean, everything uses Bluetooth. Unlike your Tesla key is Bluetooth, so that makes sense. They would use Bluetooth for that. Which,
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't make me feel warm or fuzzy doing that either.
Yeah, I think you can turn off the Bluetooth for your ledger. I think they give you that option when you're first setting it up. So if you're someone who gets a new ledger and they're like, want to enable Bluetooth, I would recommend just not even enabling it in the first place, and then not using your phone. Like, I get people like using their phone. It's easy and simple, but
Not with
you
my
don't
sack
want
money.
to. Yeah, you don't want to lose your crypto.
Yeah. Wife uses VPN for Netflix. Perfectly fine scenario. Love it. Censorship resistance. There you go. Love it.